Alright guys, we've made it to Moon Patrol Part 5. Rebuild, restore, refurbish, repair, whatever you'd like to call it. And being this is an older cabinet, and I'm not going to stencil it, maybe even fuckery. Now listen, if you by chance came across this channel, could you please subscribe? It would help grow the channel. And if you're a return viewer that pops in occasionally here or there and you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate if you did. Alright guys, so this is what I'm gonna do. I got this tilted up right back here where it was a bit swollen. I dug at the laminate type stuff on the plywood. It's pretty stiff now, but it still can get up underneath of it, so I will kind of glue all this down. It's solid from here up to the front. Hang on a second here. So it had this little L-type shape corner protector thing that went along the side like this and stapled up through the bottom. Is that stock on these? Because if it is, I'd like to maybe find something to put back on this, on the corners. If it isn't, I'd like to know to that too. But I still might do this. Alright, now, as I was saying, I got it tilted up on its side. I'm working with some 60 grit. I'm just going to buzz it till it just starts hitting the wood like that. And then I'm going to probably finish it off with, I don't know, 120 or something like that. So what I'm going to do is basically going to prep this whole entire cabinet for primering. And then I'm going to primer the whole cabinet, sand the sides and the fronts where I'm going to be painting black, paint black where it's supposed to be, and then leaving the bare. I'll probably wrap the paint around the outside edge and then sand the side one more time before I stick the artwork on. But there'll be many clips in between that, guys. I'm just trying to get out here and get committed to this. So I'll be back in a second with something different. Guys, I've only sanded a tiny bit of this cabinet in about a minute. And this stuff is just everywhere. And hey look, I gotta go find my mask because this shit stinks. This could be leaded paint. Not that I'm producing kids anymore, but I might want to live an extra year or two. Who knows? Maybe. Okay, fellas. So, after I got the paint off of here and looked around this side here, you can see she's nice and squishy. I think I can take care of that with a deep soak of super glue and clamp that bitch together tight. So there it starts, it's connected there pretty good. So I'll dig at this a little bit with my screwdriver and get all the flaky crap off. Like that. I don't want to bond over a bunch of loose shit. It just ain't gonna make sense to. Anyways, I'm gonna harden up that corner. I'll harden up all of this and do Bondo work over it. Small nick here, small nick here. Everywhere else looks pretty good. As usual, the T-molding slot will get packed with Bondo so it can be recut. I'm going to go ahead and tip it over on the other side and sand that side. see what it all looks like. And then, I don't know, at some point in time I'll take this crap out of here. I don't know if you guys noticed on the last part of the video, but there's a heck of a battle scar. Only if these cabinets could talk, right fellas? Wonder what the fuck they'd say about people. Yeah, there was this one dude, man, he needed some deodorant. Alright guys, so here's the other side. Here's that strip I was telling you about. It's kind of gross. I hate spiders. But anyways, I'll have to pull this off. We're missing a foot pad over there. And the pad, adjustable feet pads are minty as always. Actually, they're not too horrible, but shitty enough. So this was stapled along the bottom. Anyways, this looks pretty bad right here. We'll have to fix it up. Some Bondo. Alright, gentlemen. I got a new 60 grit disc on my orbital sander. And I'm about to make this shit disappear. Okay guys, so sanded a lot of the crap, loose crap off the bottom, kind of rolling it at, I don't know, some sort of an angle so I can come across it with Bondo and then come across it flat. It's just sort of like welding steel. You know, you put a little bevel and stuff so you can fill with weld. Sort of my theory there. Does it make sense? I don't know. Is it gonna work? I don't know. It makes me feel good. Alright. I was sanding down to the wood, you know, trying to keep it as even as possible. And I started coming up in here to where it says Williams. And I thought, hey, you know, maybe I should just strip all this black paint off. And so I did. Tried to evenly take the paint off and leave this image under here so we can give it a moment of silence. I hope you guys have your heads bowed, because I do. Alright, time to remove this. Alright guys, so as you can see, I'm a Smurf now. We got both sides sanded. It really smells weird in here. It's probably just the smell of old paint, huh? So like I said, this door is warped. Probably gonna build a new one, and a new one that goes here. This wood's pretty solid except for down along the bottom. Not sure how to remedy that yet. I may be able to just bevel the edge over and it'll all be good wood. This top is pretty solid, pretty straight. So I think I'm just gonna lightly sand it, and when primering comes along, all of this back wood here will just get primered. I'm really not gonna take it down to bare wood like I did the Konami cabinets, because you know, I don't think there's been rain on top of this one. I mean, I'll hit it with the sander, but I'm not going to go down to bare wood just to clean stuff up like this. The front here, guys. The front's pretty straight, except for down at the bottoms where it needs glued and squeezed back together. I may May just use the mouse sander on all of this to just kind of scuff it up lightly, primer over it and paint it. That's just a lot of blue dust, guys. It's even in my eyes. Alright, I'm not sure what I'm doing next. Next clip I'll be doing something. Believe it or not, guys, this was still glued on here. It's never been pulled off till now. So probably gonna work on taking these 2 bolts out, I presume. Drop 2 bolts through holes to secure monitor when slid back. Well, I don't know what all that means, but I'm gonna take these 2 bolts out and hopefully I can slide this monitor frame completely out. Right here in this corner, 277 stamped in there. Any Williams guys out there? What's that mean? Okay, the monitor's out. This switch, this interlock switch and all that, the regular power switch, it's all working. So if I can decipher it down in here of what's going where and what it all does, I'll probably keep a lot of this wiring harness. The main power part anyways. Obviously everything from the connector I made is going to have to run where it needs to go, and that stuff's coming out. I was wondering what you might think these lines sticking up from the mountains would be from. When I first got this board, the background worked. I wasn't sure of these lines or not, but I didn't have any characters, so I took the board apart, took all the chips off, cleaned all the chips, cleaned all the sockets, washed the boards, dried the boards, put it back together. I can get everything now. It's just these lines are here. Like I said though, I don't know if the lines were always there, because the monitor I first put this on was so faint, if you might say, that I couldn't see anything but this green and brown anyways. And well, this up here. So I don't know if that's an existing problem or if it's from me moving stuff around. I've already tore the board apart, reseated all the chips on the scrolling background board, and still the same thing. Alright guys, not sure where I'm all at on part number 5, Moon Patrol. So I've torn this board completely apart. I've de-chipped everything that was in sockets. Everything's been cleaned and taken care of, reseated. I got it hooked to its power supply that's going to be mounted in the cabinet with this game board. I have the video. Jesus, guys. Video Molex connector wired for the chassis it's going to be on. As you can see, my mess in the background. But anyways, all the graphics errors are gone. I've coined this up in the jump, the fast, the slow, the jump, and the fire. The start buttons for 1 and 2 work, and both coin switch wires work. So everything seems to be working like 100%. I don't hear any missing sounds or any anomalies in the sound. So I finally got the small neck board from Arcade Parts and Repair. So I'm gonna work on, I got a new socket here. So I'm gonna start transferring all these parts onto here, so then I can use one of the small neck tubes that I have. We'll see if I can't get this to widen out, and I have a little bit of vertical. I can't get it to come all the way up like it's supposed to. So hopefully the yokes on my small neck tubes are more compatible, and well, they are. So okay guys, quick update here. Everything's going pretty smooth on this so far. It's not too difficult. Everything's labeled pretty good. If I was going to make a complaint, Arcade Parts and Repair sends you this big honkin' 4.7 250 cap, which is an excellent cap. I've never had any issues with them, but the space they want you to put it into, see that footprint for it? Right here, by my thumb. And it's super close to that connector. I think it should have been spaced out a little bit. And that, where that blue cap is, I think is a bit confusing. I'm not sure what set of holes it goes in. So I put it right where it says C205, because the C204 is this this cap, and it was marked plus and minus there. Now I rang it out with similar spots that it connects to, and it seems like that's the right spot. The only difficulty I find is I have these two here that I believe are R214 and R215, and there's no spots for them. But this is also a small neck coming from a big neck. So I don't know, maybe the small neck don't use these two resistors. Now I took out the cutoff pots, and I have them here in this WD-40. They run really smooth now. So I'm going to dry them, pat them dry as much as I can, and put them into this board and do the same thing with these pots. Now I've heard people say before you can't use WD-40 on pots, and I never have. But I'm going to try it now in the name of science, because back in my younger redneck days, when we used to do a lot of mud bogging, when your distributor caps got full of water, and mind you, I said distributor cap, you know, that's 80,000 volts. When they'd get wet and wouldn't run because the ignition system was soaked, you used to pull the caps off and drown them out with WD-40 and fire them right back up. So I have a tendency to think that WD-40 does not cause arcing and, you know, whatever. So it used to work for that. I'm going to try it for these. If it don't work, then I guess we'll all find out it don't work. Alright guys, so I have this board depopulated. Like I said, I can't find the spaces for these resistors. This red wire concerns me because if you look where that is, it says screen red right there. And it also says red on this board. But this is a jumper wire. There's no other else for that red wire that matches it and says red, right? And this is the So, anyways, guys, this wire don't plug into the ground, so I'm assuming that it has to go here because the only other big hole is in the ground plane. So I'm also still missing that whatever goes there, if there's even anything that goes there. But everything else is on. I had to kind of wiggle the pots around because, well, they're smashed together too tight. Might work for pots like that, but not these ones. If those were spaced just a little bit wider or staggered different, it'd be pretty sweet. So I'm going to plug this into a small neck tube and, well, we'll see if it works. Alright guys, so I got full width now. Some DeGauss issues because for some reason I took the DeGauss coil off this tube and I noticed the yoke was turned and it was awful loose. So I don't know if this is a tube me and my son was trying to converge and I didn't like the way it converged, so I just left it for a test tube. Because you can see, well, maybe not. It's got beautiful color, but see how there's black behind them zeros? I don't know if those are supposed to be shadows, but I don't also think the zeros are supposed to be pink because part of them's red where the black is lined up. And you can see it on that P as well. It's just the colors are so... This doesn't do any justice whatsoever. So anyways, on that yoke I'm able to get full adjustment for vertical, horizontal, and all of that. It may be why I didn't have a yoke connector on the end of these wires either. So I'll probably just go out. I got a couple more 19s that got brought in to me, so I'm gonna go find a candidate, a skinny neck anyways, and if it don't have the right yoke, I know I can use this one. So I'm thinking this is the one where me and my son could not get it, just couldn't get it, the convergence good enough. So, I think I'm going to end part 5 here. Let me set this down and see if I can clean this up a second. Now I just have to use wires and touch the ground. And then I'll put on 2 players. Let's see if I find the jump wire. I think it is orange and white. Now you'll see it'll work for both. This is player 2. Now remember, I only have 1 wire going to the control panel. So this is player 2. Now we're back to player 1. So the jump button works for both. Which one's 5? Yellow and black. I don't know what guy we're on. But there's one of the players. Alright, so my little jumping trick at the At the connector did what I was wanting it to do. Sound on a little speaker from a TV. So I think I'm going to go ahead and assemble the board back together. I'll be getting another tube. And we'll see on part 6. I'm going on vacation for a bit, so this I'm trying to get this video somewhat wrapped up, guys. So I appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, share like that. Stuff like that. See, the white don't look bad there, but up in this corner it's just horrid. And alright, peace.